Hello everybody, welcome back to another LEGO City update. Jordan here. Today we're going to be changing up Pop Culture Street. I know, Pop Culture Street looks pretty good. It's one of the places in the LEGO City that actually looks complete. But we're going to be changing it because there's a new building that's coming out. And that is the new epic Sanctum Sanctorum modular building. So we're going to have to replace our custom Sanctum Sanctorum. The new one is actually a corner building, so I'm not sure where it's going to go on this awesome street here. But the entire layout is going to change in order to accommodate that. Also, the zoo is no longer going to be on the end of this table, I don't think. We're going to be changing the layout of our zoo, even though it's nowhere near being done. It needs to be repositioned here on this table. So this is what it currently looks like. We've got the Avengers Tower on the end of the street there, then Peter Parker's apartment. We've got 3 facades. That's Breakfast at Tiffany's, 101 Dalmatians, and Full House, right beside the Daily Bugle. Now we're also planning on expanding our Daily Bugle, so we're probably going to have to leave room for that in our plans. Then we have the Ghostbusters HQ, the Sitcomplex, or Sitcom Tower, I believe. And then we have our custom Sanctum Sanctorum, 12 Grimwald Place, Sesame Street. There's a pub right here, a university, then the zoo, and on this side over here we have the Dinos exhibition along with the hospital and a few other buildings. But we are going to come up with a new plan now. However, Jose and I are sort of undecided on what we're going to do. We both have different ideas. In order to start making these changes, we need a workspace. But look at my workspace right now. It is literally covered in all of our large Lego vehicles. We just finished doing a collection overview of all these. So the first thing that we need to do today is put all of these back on the shelves. Pulled those little park plates out there along with the zoo, leaving a bunch of white table exposed. So now we can start to shift some of our buildings down. Well, moving the road took all of 1 minute with Mills. Yes! So with the removal of the zoo, obviously we're free to do a bunch of moving around over there. You know, the zoo has been on the back burner for a long time. A lot of people say that, oh, your zoo is so ugly. Well, it's not built yet. And I know it's literally been on the back burner for like a year. We built the aquarium in the basic layout in the entrance, which I think the entrance looks pretty good. And I think the aquarium looks pretty good too. However, with that said, the back side of it, you know, it's pretty white panelish. So I was thinking of adding more windows and stuff like that to the aquarium itself. And we also want to add some interior details, such as like fish on the walls and stuff like that. Just not brick those things to the walls or something like that. I think that add a nice vibe to the aquarium. It looks pretty good. I dig it. Obviously, everything here has to be Mills plated, including that. So when we do that, we're going to upgrade it. And we're also going to change the position of it here in this video as well. So this is what I've got going on so far. We just essentially slid all of Pop Culture Street down this way, and now the street is right there. So now when I'm streaming right here, you're not going to see the backside of the aquarium. However, you will see like the backside of these buildings, right? And that also makes this corner a little bit tighter. But I don't know, I think it looks decent for now. I left half a base plate right here for the Daily Bugle expansion, because we plan on expanding it by half a base plate. And then we've got a bunch of space over here. And I also moved the custom Sanctum Sanctorum just over here for now, because that's where I had an open base plate. I'm going to be changing this, probably just remove that dish element from the roof there and just make this a different building. I don't know if it's going to be like a comic book store or something like that. And you can see we've got all this space open here. So now I've got to try and figure out how we're going to run, or how we're going to position that zoo and where we're going to run the road in this area here. But I think the zoo will be better over here, because like with the tall skyscrapers, like the SIG Tower, Hospital, and Avengers Tower, it really did shelter all of these buildings. You really couldn't see them, right? So now with lower stuff here being the zoo, you're gonna be able to see that stuff better. I just gotta try and figure out how we're gonna work this in there, and also what we're gonna do with our layout of the buildings here, and also on this side here, not too sure. There is another option here too. I could push this back one base plate and we could run buildings along here, but then the problem is you would just see a bunch of backs of buildings right there. It would probably save us a bunch of space and give us more real estate for cool modular buildings. But what would we rather see? The backs of buildings, or, you know, the Ghostbusters HQ and Sitcom Tower like that? It's a fine line. There's lots of different things that we can do, obviously. And one of the main things that we have to do is for sure fix these mills plates so they're all gray like that there. But I'm going to continue shifting things around. After a ton of trial and error, I think we've nailed down a pretty cool layout. Oh yeah, I like the look of it. You know, we've made some big changes. For example, the sitcom tower used to be right here beside the Ghostbusters HQ. Now it's way over there, and we've put the Daily Bugle here, leaving that half base plate open for expansion, and also a nice base plate right there for, yeah, the new Sanctum Sanctorum. It's going to be like, boom, the first thing that you see when you come down here and see Pop Culture Street. And beside the Daily Bugle makes sense, and right across the street from the Avengers Tower is pretty cool as well. We also moved the Dinos exhibition over there. We've got the Diagon Alley set right there, and then Sesame Street right there, and a little bit of a walkway open here because this is going to be the new placement for the zoo. It is condensed, so there's not as much space for it now, which I actually like. And the aquarium, which sort of has that ugly back, is over there, so you're not going to see it as often. I still plan on, you know, improving the look of that aquarium, but for now, it's just over there. I think it looks good. And you'll see that this is just a lot smaller now, so we'll be able to have our entrance visible here. Guests will be able to come in, and then we're going to start working on the zoo relatively soon as well. There's one thing that we need to do. It's sort of a disaster in here, and we've got to start tidying up. So we've got to build some more road plates. Got to get some curves made so these roads all connect. And then we've also got to make a change to the road over here as well. You'll see we've got to build some more. And we've got to move this road plate here and this train crossing over so it's there and then connects to the road there. So pretty cool layout that I'm pretty happy with. I like the new position of the sitcom tower over here. And the new position of the zoo is nice and, you know, low, so you can actually see the city over there. So it just sort of makes sense. And then here, this spot is just vibing. I can't wait to clean it up and have a detailed look at it once we get all these roads figured out and all of this mess cleaned up. The more that I continue working on this layout here, the more I like it. And you know what? I got to give a big shout out to Jose because it was actually her initial idea and I was sort of against it, but now I'm really digging it. Bringing this stuff to the edge of the table was fantastic. There's still a lot of work that has to happen here, so let's discuss the things that we need to do as we move forward. Obviously, we need to build the zoo, and I've decided to put some construction vehicles here just to symbolize that this is nowhere near completed. There's a lot of people that were commenting that, oh, the zoo is so ugly, you got to move the zoo, like before we moved it, and I was like, oh, you know, it's pretty hard to judge it when it's nowhere near completion. So I've decided to move it over here. I like its new layout. I like how it's nice and low, and you can see all of those modular buildings back there now. I think it's substantially better. Also, its footprint is much smaller, so I think it looks pretty rad over here, especially once we get it all mills plated. I think it's going to look awesome. When are we going to do that? We're actually going to finish building our campground first, and then we're going to hop onto this. But our campground right over here is like almost done. It just requires some more trees, bushes, minifigures, and I'm sure you've been following the story and the vlogs on us building this new and improved campground. But this is going to be done here right away within the next couple days, and then we're going to transition into the zoo. Now I want you to have a look at the river here. You see it? It's like a little creek. We're going to do something like that over in Pop Culture Street as well. Where are we going to do that? Okay, we're actually going to do it right over here on these two base plates. I know that's sort of weird. It doesn't really make sense, does it? Not really, but what we're going to do is we're going to run a little bit of a creek through here, and it's going to go through a sewer on that side and a sewer on this side. I just think it's going to add like a nice vibe to that area there. We'll put some trees, some bushes, also some benches and stuff like that. Increase the size of the sidewalk here, and just add a nice pop of color and just like a little place where people can just sort of hang out just outside of the zoo. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. Now we have one base plate here and one base plate on the other side, and we still need to decide what we're going to do with those two base plates. I love the new layout. I think it looks fantastic. We still need to grow our Daily Bugle, so that's going to be happening soon as well. And then we need to render this plate here. We're thinking of making this like a little courtyard for the university. So I think that's a good idea. It also gives this corner building a little bit of breathing room. We could reduce that to a half base plate if we needed the space. And over here as well, We did the same thing with the hospital. We put our gazebo here, and then we've got 2 base plates actually. And once again, if we need to shrink that, we definitely could. So we could move the hospital over and we could put another building in that block there. Obviously, super duper excited for the new Sanctum Sanctorum that's going to be coming out here on August 1st. And that's where it's going to go there, where I have all our Marvel minifigures hanging out for right now. Oh, and also Sheldon Cooper, I guess. That used to be where the sitcom tower was. So obviously, we just need to move some things around here and get some things spruced up. Now, one thing that is offset a little bit is the Diagon Alley. So you'll see that it starts there with the Weasley Wizard Wheezes, and then it's offset just a little bit. But actually, it looks pretty good. It's like one continuous alley. And when we expand our Daily Bugle, we're going to have that same alley design with like the cobblestone on the back side of the larger Daily Bugle. And it'll sort of be all the way along back there. So it's actually going to look pretty good. Not too bad. I'm pretty excited about that. I don't know if they're going to give us a Gringotts Bank sometime in the future. I mean, it's been rumored, but I think the train is more so going to happen than Gringotts Bank at this point this year. But yeah, I think it looks good. That's our new layout for Pop Culture Street and the zoo. Let us know what you think of it by commenting below, and make sure you stay tuned because we're going to make lots of changes to this area, continue developing it, and we'll be placing the Sanctum Sanctorum. Everybody, thank you so much for popping on by. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff. Farewell.